I'm coming out. Da-da, dun, 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 dun. We're doing fajitas. I don't know whether they're from Mexico or Spain or any Latin-based dancing country, but we're doing fajitas today, and I love it. I love it. Thanks for the suggestions. This has been a staple of my Saturday night dinners, probably once a month since about 2008. I love it. You know those little packets? Well, we're not going to use one of those. You can use those. But fajitas for me is the progression of British food, British cooking. We are seen, as some people outside of Britain, as being quite bland in our food. The amount of times I've been abroad or to Skegness and they've said things like, oh, your food's so bland, whilst they're chomping on some candy floss and rock with a gummy smile. But no, in the continent they have their food, the colours of the rainbow like we've got here, and this is what we're going to do today. You know, I think cooking can be like football. I've said this before, I'm a big fan of football and I'm a big fan of cooking. Football because it's passion, cooking because we need to eat food to survive. But that food can be textured, it can be nice. So, instead of having a plate of oven chips and chicken nuggets, David Batty, Mark Noble, just an honest, hard-working, unfanciful, not very inspiring midfielder, we've got Iniesta, we've got Xavi, we've got Verratti. We've got a midfield dinner that is absolutely full of continental flair, vision, colour, vibrance. It's fajitas, and that's what we're doing today. So, what do you need? Well, I've got a lot of things here, so don't worry if you're lonely. We all come out of this, we all came into this world on our own, and so we can all eat on our own if we need to. And you're out of the bubble now, thanks to Boris. Get out there and mingle. That's what he said with another family. Don't really do about politics, but one red pepper if you're doing it for one person. If you're doing it for more, just double it up. One red pepper, one red onion, one red chilli, some tomatoes, lime, cumin, smoked paprika, sour cream, wraps, chicken. We're doing chicken fajitas. Now you could do chicken, pork, beef, lamb. Courgettes work well with this. I'm just thinking about the vegetarians because I'm very wary that people think I'm anti-vegetarianism. I'm not anti-vegetarianism. I'll tell you why in a minute. My issue with vegetarianism is the food is bland, and a lot of it is. You're only enjoying it because you know it's healthy. You know, when you're eating a vegetarian dish, you're like, are you really enjoying it? No, it's like watching a crap film that you've been asked to watch by your partner. You're really enjoying it? Yeah, it's great. Really great. I've always wanted to watch this crappy rom-com load of rubbish when I could be watching Fast and Furious 12. So, yes, vegetarian food is good for you. It's healthy. It's definitely something we need to eat. But I've got a theory on how we can improve vegetarian food, because there's nothing more saddening than taking a child, your own child, nobody else's, nothing like that. There's nothing more saddening than taking your child or yourself to McDonald's and saying, you can have carrots with your chicken nuggets. Their face drops. Carrots or fries? Come on. That's something that you don't come back from. My parents took me to McDonald's and they bought me carrot sticks instead of fries with my chicken nuggets. We've got to think better than this. We've got to do better than this. And I've got a theory on how we can. Anyway, let's get chopping. I'm thinking about the doorbell, when you're gonna ring it, when you're gonna ring it. We're bringing it. Right, we're back. So we've gone from recipe ingredients to chopped ingredients and more ingredients to go in. I call it a process. Anyway, so we've chopped our red onion, we've chopped our red pepper, we've chopped up our chicken into slices. That's in the bowl. We need to marinate this for 5 minutes before we cook it over there, but we need to add in some other things. So we're going to have just a pinch of paprika, or I call it a sprinkle. There we go. Paprika, powdered paprika. We need 2 teaspoons. Well, this is half a teaspoon. Take the lid off. 4 of these. Jambanjovi. 1, 2, 3. I love paprika, me. 4. So that's half a teaspoon, which times 4 equals 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, but I do like paprika powder. Next, a lug of olive oil, which basically means lug. Probably need a little bit more than that. Sprinkle with a bit of seasoning. Seasoning in cooking is like a Ronaldo free kick over a Ronaldo penalty. It takes a goal from being a good goal to being exceptional. That's how I describe it. And then your lime, you can squeeze it in, but I've got this thing here that I stick in and prod it, and it gets all the juice out. Don't be dirty. Right, that's one. Ooh, it's very satisfying, that is. Ram it in and just let it work its magic. Juice. It's 1, 2. So what we're doing here is we're taking our chicken, our pepper and our onion, and we're basically adding flavour. We're adding flavour in here, which is very important in cooking because it makes it taste nice. Right, that's got everything in there. Now we're going to stir it all up. So the all's going to be marinated in here for 5 minutes. And as you can see, this is what makes fajitas. Otherwise, if you didn't have a marinade or a bit of taste, you'd just basically be eating warm chicken, onion and pepper in a bit of bread. But we're not. We're going to funk it up. Funk with an N, not the CK. That doesn't belong in cooking. We're going to F-U-C-K it up. We're not doing that. We're going to funk it up. And there you can see, now I've stirred it in, that has now started to marinade. Marinade basically just means be like having a bath in gravy. You'd be marinating yourself in a warm, imagine having a warm gravy bath and then someone licked it off you. Kinky. That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is you're marinating yourself. Don't do it, but we are doing it with our food because it allows it just to all soak in everything like that. Okay, I've still got my theory on vegetarian food and funking that up, but there is your marinade 5 minutes. Let's go over to the cooker. In between time, actually, we're going to do something else. Exciting. Right, whilst the chicken is marinating, we're now going to make the salsa and the chunky guacamole to go with it. Yes, this is like fish and chips with ketchup or brown sauce if you're British, but we are going to pimp up our fajitas with something a little bit different. So let me do the guacamole first because avocado can go brown if you leave it out for too long, and we need to get our lime on it to help with that. And I've got a little bit of a trick for it as well. So basically what your chunky guacamole is, and it's that green stuff that some people dip Doritos in, we need 3 avocados if you're doing it for 6 people, so halve it if it's for less. 3 avocados, 1 large tomato chopped up, 1 red onion, half a red onion chopped up. You need a lime and a bit of chilli. Got a little bit, half a red chilli chopped up as well. That's your ingredients there. What you're doing with your avocado is this. Where's my bloody knife? Oh, I could crush a grape or an avocado. This will do. So when you've halved your avocado, you take the stone out. We're going to use that. Then across your avocado, just slice down all the way to the skin. Slice down, then slice across, slice across, slice across, slice across. So when you stick your spoon in, you'll pull it all out in chunks. Yabba dabba doo. So that works well. Get rid of that. Don't eat it, dog. Okay, now I've got a bowl. I'm going to use that in a minute. Tip all of this into the bowl. The avocado, the tomatoes, the onions. Get in. Get in, 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 get in. Okay, that's looking good. Chop your lime in half. Squeeze your lime in. This is already looking good. Squeeze your lime. Squeeze your lime. You know, one of my mates at school used to go down the local phone box. Youth of today won't know what a phone box is. Used to go down the local phone box and ring up people from school, normally that he fancied. And when they picked up the phone, he'd go, "Ooh, squeezy lemon, squeezy lemon, squeezy lemon," and that was it. That was his thing, really. Early form of harassment, really. Although they did know it was him because we basically grassed him up when he told us. I think he got suspended. God knows where he is now. But so yeah, and then what we're doing here now is we're going to get salt and pepper on this as well. The seasoning. Bit of salt, salt and pepper. Lovely stuff. I don't think there's any bloody salt in there. Bloody hell. Anyway, make sure you've got some salt. And what you're doing here is with your avocado, because it'll be quite soft, is just press it down with a fork and mash it up a little bit. And there you've got your avocado, chunky avocado guacamole. Okay, next one. This is your tomato salsa. So this is 3 small tomatoes, or I just used about 15 of those baby tomatoes and sliced them in half. Chop it up. Chop a half an onion, your other half of your red onion up. You can have red pepper, you can have red chilli or green chilli, again just a half of that chopped, and a clove of garlic chopped as well. Bowl, in we go. This will be your salsa that you can add with your fajitas as well. Everything goes in there. Not going to chuck the plate. Season it again with your fake salt. I've got real pepper, and then olive oil. Don't tell Popeye, but I'm Dutch. 2 tablespoons, which I'm not even going to measure out. I'm just going to guess because I'm rock and roll in the kitchen. And lemon as well. Not a lemon, a lime. A bloody lime. Another lime. We're getting through some limes. Squeeze it. Don't worry, I've still got my vegetarian theory. People always say, do you want to tell us a funny story as well? I'll tell you a funny story. Anti-vegetarian in a way. Not from me. London Dungeons. If you've ever been to London Dungeons. Right, that's got everything in it now. And basically, give it a good old stir. Look at that, that's lovely now. The taste of that when you have it with your fajita wraps as well. I've just realised I've got a cut on my finger and the lime's gone into it and it's stinging. That really hurts. That's looking great. They're both looking great. Chambon. Anyway, London Dungeons. We get there quite early. They have all those bloody chain things that you can queue up in. They say, don't worry about that, just come forward. It's quite dark in there. I come forward, I trip over the chain, really hurt my leg. And everyone starts laughing. And I'm with the missus at the time, and I said, I don't know why you're laughing, I've really hurt my leg. It's not just a comedy you've been framed moment, I've actually hurt my leg, and you're probably going to be liable. Well, they soon stopped laughing then, they couldn't get the first aid box out quick enough. Anyway, pulled my trouser leg up, it's just a bit of a graze. But it really hurts, so they start laughing again, because they can just see it's a graze. And then this guy who's dressed up as Dracula goes, I want to suck your blood, for a joke. And I went, now's not the time, F off. Anyway, I don't know what you're like. I don't like being laughed at. And especially when I've just fell over like a prat and they try and crack a joke so they can laugh again. Be serious, you could be getting sued. I didn't sue them anyway, I'm not that sort. Anyway, over to the kitchen. That's all ready for when we've cooked our wraps. We're now going to go over to the cooker to do our marinated chicken. And I'm also going to give you my theory on vegetarianism. Tra-la-la-la-la. La 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 la. Hello, and we're back, and we're by the cooker, which is always a good place to be when you're cooking. So we've got our marinated chicken, which we did earlier. We've got a pan. Now you can use a griddle, but I use a frying pan, whatever. Lug of olive oil in there, medium heat, and then we're just going to add in our marinated goods. But let me take it off the heat to do this because you just don't know the heat of it. Quite hot. Yeah, I suspected that. It's quite hot. So in that all goes lovely marinated stuff. Make sure you get it all out. Don't worry, I'm about to tell you a very good story about my theory on vegetarianism, because you don't have to have chicken. The great thing about this, you're talking about 6 to 8 minutes on the heat. You want to make sure it all gets cooked. So there's going to be a lot of stirring involved in this. Stirring and turning. Stirring and turning, and the smell's great because of that paprika. Right, we're up and running there now. Now, what I was saying before is, you could use, if you didn't have your chicken in there, you could have strips of beef, you could have strips of pork, you could have strips of lamb, but you have already got your peppers, red peppers, and your onion. So how could you turn it into a vegetarian dish? Well, straight away take your chicken out, and I would add in another pepper, maybe a green and a red pepper to bulk it out. Courgettes, very good as well. Mushrooms. So you could easily make this into a vegetarian dish. Right, that's going to start cooking a bit now, so we don't need to stir as much. Now, my point here is that when it comes to vegetarianism, the issue with it is the taste. It's about the taste. As I said last week, it's very bland food. I can name one vegetarian dish in my top 50, and that is a chilli vegetarian dish, which has got a lot of flavour in it. So, as I said, if you're there's nothing more sad. Now, vegetarian food or vegan food or a non-meat diet is very healthy for food, not the other thing. So, how do you do that? How do you get more healthy food into your diet? Because, let's be honest, as I've said before, if you're eating a vegetarian fajita and someone else is eating a chicken one and you like your meat, you're only doing it to be healthy. So what do you need to do? Because there's nothing worse than walking into McDonald's with your kids and saying, have carrot sticks with your chicken nuggets rather than fries. The face drops. It's like somebody's just told them that their pet rabbit's gone to live with Mr. Fox. They're dejected, they're upset, and, you know, they won't forget that. They won't forget that. You know, what if in the future, you know, you separate from the mum or the dad and they remember you as the parent who took them to McDonald's and made them have carrot sticks instead of fries. So this is where, and also there's such hypocrisy with that as well, because, you know, what's that all about? Mr. Rabbit's gone to live with Mr. Fox. Why do we protect children? Because we want to protect them. But there's a hypocrisy of, you sit them down, you wake up in the morning, you realise the fox has been in the rabbit hutch. How are you going to tell the kids? You sit them down for a bacon sandwich in front of Peppa Pig and you tell them Mr. Rabbit has gone to live with Mr. Fox. They're eating Peppa Pig whilst they're doing this. So, you know, you're protecting them from what? The reality is, Mr. Rabbit is in Mr. Fox because we eat meat. And you know, that realism is sometimes comes across as a hypocrisy. But my point here is that if you want to eat vegetarian food, why don't they dress it up like that? There is an answer there. Why not say, this chicken is made out of plants and stuff that vegetarians and vegans can eat, but it tastes like chicken. That glass of Fanta that tastes like Fanta is actually just water, but it's just got a bit of, you know, organically nice flavouring in it. That beef burger that tastes exactly like a Big Mac has got no meat in it at all, but it tastes exactly like it. We can put a man on the moon, allegedly, but we can't make a synthetic, plant-based, healthy burger. And that's where they're going wrong. That's where they're going wrong for me. It's that ability to, and this is where they would make loads of money. People want to eat a kebab meat and chips. People want to eat a Big Mac and fries. People want to eat a beef lasagna. People want to eat chicken fajitas. But are they guilty sometimes that it comes from over-farmed animals or animals in a bad condition, or even animals in general? You know, if we're not eating these chickens, they could be out building cities for themselves or something. I'm being stupid, but the reality is, if that was a plant-based chicken and it tastes like, and it wouldn't be chicken, it would be something called something else, I'd eat it. Because that bit of chicken there could be made out of all sorts of plant-based, I don't know why I'm saying plant-based, but you know, things that vegetarians can eat, but taste exactly like it. And I would eat it. Because I would be like, you know what? It tastes good. I'm not eating it because it's meat. I'm eating it because it tastes good. And that's where vegetarian food could really, really come home. And start making it into my top 50. So, how long have I been blabbing on for that? About 6 minutes. And we've been stirring it around and it's all doing great. So after 6 to 8 minutes, or when it's cooked, you've got to make it sure it's cooked. And obviously we're dealing with chicken strips here on my spoon. Make sure it's all cooked. Don't want to overcook it. Don't want to burn your onions or your peppers. But you want it to start, it won't be a dry thing. You don't want it to be a dry thing because it's marinated. It's got juice in it, like lemon juice. It's got olive oil. It's got all the water that will probably come from the pepper and the onions. You're not looking for something dry here. You're looking for it to cook. And make sure your chicken's cooked. It won't take long for your peppers and your onions. When that is done, warm your wraps up in a microwave or in the oven. That will go on the plate with your wraps and your salsa and your avocado. Maybe do yourself a bit of rice. Bing, bang, bong. We've achieved what we wanted to achieve. Achieve. We've achieved what we wanted to achieve, Chief. We've funked it up. We've got to funk it up. Don't you know? Funk it up, cut. You've got to funk it up. And there you have it. We've got the chicken fajitas on the plate, steaming because it's hot. Don't serve it cold. Nice little bit of rice, sour cream, the smashed avocado, which we did, guacamole, chunky, the tomato salsa, a bit of salad, and your wraps. Just tuck in, put a bit of that chicken in a wrap, put some rice on your plate, bit of guac, bit of the salsa, bit of the old sour cream. You're laughing. You're absolutely laughing. Lovely stuff. Beautiful. It doesn't do my back any good being down here, you know. Hello, we're back. So that's it for another week. Fajitas done. Get in the comments with your future ideas. Fajitas was a suggestion from last week and I went with it because I like them. So get in there. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and share the video. Something from lockdown that I never thought I would do. Not cooking. I mean, to be honest, I was pretty sure as a child I would need to cook if I wanted to survive. But filming myself doing it, I didn't realise I would enjoy it so much. So thanks everyone who is enjoying it as well. And get your comments in below with any future ideas you've got. I think you're going to enjoy that fajitas. And it's, you know, medium sort of, I nearly said medium illness. Medium difficulty level. So that's what I'm going for. Dishes that I like to cook, that you might like to cook too. Not really the tagline I'm going for. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.